Why would you do that? Those were Arrianna's last words, whispered in disbelief as life slipped from her body. November 17th, 2025, Gary, Indiana. A quiet street, a small home, and inside a moment that would change everything. One gunshot shattered the normalcy of a life that had seemed, from the outside, ordinary. But this wasn't a random act of violence. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong or an argument that got out of hand. The man holding the gun wasn't a stranger. He was someone Arrianna had trusted, someone who had once captured her heart with a simple online message. So how did a flirtatious text, a bold connection online, spiral into a fatal shooting? How did a love story, shared for the world to see, end in tragedy? Welcome to the True Crime Shadow, where the headlines and we begin. We dig deeper, uncovering the hidden stories, the untold details, and the chilling truths behind the crimes that leave communities stunned and families shattered. Today we uncover every layer, the choices, the secrets, and the events that led to the final heartbreaking moments of Arrianna Miles. It all began with a single daring message. Arrianna saw Charles Franklin online, good-looking, confident, but taken. Most people would have scrolled past. Not Arrianna. With no hesitation, she typed 4 words that would change everything. Want a better one? 4 words. That was enough. Charles left his girlfriend. He started seeing Arrianna, and she didn't hide her victory. She screenshotted their conversation, posted it online, and captioned it proudly, showing the world that she had claimed what she wanted, and she wasn't apologetic about it. From a start, Arrianna's mindset was clear, bold, competitive, and confident. She went after what she wanted, unafraid of judgment. Her early victories were public, celebrated, and unmistakable. But the same boldness that sparked this whirlwind romance would soon collide with something far darker, a reality no message or post could prepare her for. Once Arrianna had Charles, she didn't hold back. Their social media overflowed with images of matching outfits, family gatherings, and smiles that seemed to say, everything is perfect. Then came the announcement that made it all feel real. Arrianna was pregnant. She shared her excitement openly, posting about her baby and praising Charles as a loving, attentive father. Every caption radiated confidence, pride, and a belief that she had truly won, a life and love she had fought for and claimed for herself. But Arrianna wasn't just bold online. She was loyal and devoted in real life too. When her best friend needed a kidney, Arrianna didn't hesitate. She promised to donate, a gesture of love few could match, a promise that showed just how deeply she cared for the people she loved. On the surface, everything looked perfect, but behind the smiles, the captions, and the carefully curated posts, something else was growing. Something darker, hidden, a danger no filter, no photo, and no post could ever hide. Charles Franklin had a criminal record, robbery, a violent felony, a history that legally barred him from owning any kind of firearm. On paper, that restriction should have kept him from ever handling a weapon again. Yet, behind the walls of their home, a sawed-off shotgun sat hidden under the love seat, quietly waiting. A dangerous secret that contrasted sharply with a carefully curated life Arrianna shared online. Matching outfits, family gatherings, happy captions. All of it masked a reality that no filter could hide. The tension between the online perfection and the real-life danger was already growing. And soon, the threat that had been simmering quietly in the background wouldn't stay hidden. It was about to erupt, setting the stage for a year that would change everything. By 2025, cracks in the relationship were impossible to ignore. April brought the first recorded incident. Charles choked Arrianna, punched her, and struck her with a belt. The violence wasn't a single act. It was a pattern, a warning that something far more dangerous was beneath the surface. Both Arrianna and Charles filed protective orders that same month. On paper, it should have meant safety, a separation, a pause. But in reality, they stayed together, bound by tangled emotions shared responsibility, and a life that didn't allow an easy exit. Then came words so chilling they'd haunt anyone who heard them. "I love you, but I'll kill you." Spoken in the same breath, love and murder intertwined. A warning no one should have to live with. June marked a new level of brutality. Witnesses saw Charles slam Arrianna to the ground so violently she lost consciousness. She was knocked out cold, vulnerable, powerless. And yet she stayed. Why? Because leaving isn't always simple. People stay for countless reasons. Fear of what might happen if they walk away. Hope that this time it will be different. Dependence, financial or emotional. Children who tie hearts and futures together. Statistics confirm a cruel reality. The most dangerous moment for a victim of domestic violence is the moment they try to leave. Control slips, and for some, that loss of power becomes lethal. But the most dangerous moment for Arrianna wasn't just staying. It was the quiet, painful decision she began to make, planning to leave for good. By November 2025, Arrianna's patience had worn thin. The bruises, the threats, the constant fear, it all added up. Quietly, almost cautiously, she began talking about ending the relationship. Friends noticed subtle changes in her demeanor, the way she spoke, the decisions she made. For the first time, she wasn't just surviving. She was planning to reclaim her life. At the same time, she was preparing for something extraordinary, a kidney donation surgery to save her best friend's life. Even in the midst of her own pain, Arrianna's heart was still generous, still loyal. She wanted to give a piece of herself to someone who needed her. But life was shifting in more than one direction. Her home, once a place of love and shared dreams, was becoming a space of danger and tension. Small arguments hinting at something larger, something unspoken. And then on November 17th, 2025, that quiet, subtle shift, the moment she tried to take control of her life, became deadly. November 17th, 2025, a day that started like any other. Arrianna cared for her 11-month-old son, going through the morning routines that had become second nature. Charles was at home. Everything seemed normal until it wasn't. An argument erupted. The exact trigger is unknown. Perhaps Arrianna told him she was done. Perhaps he discovered her plans to leave. Or maybe something small spiraled out of control. Whatever it was, it quickly escalated. This wasn't just a fight. This was control slipping. The abuser reacting to losing the grip he had held for months. And in that moment, Charles reached for something forbidden. A sawed-off shotgun illegally possessed, hidden within reach. The blast was deafening. Arrianna took the hit to her abdomen. Close range. The trajectory told investigators everything they needed to know. The gun fired downward, a clear sign that Charles stood over her. This was not a struggle for the weapon. This was someone in power, standing over someone vulnerable, pulling the trigger. And through the chaos, Arrianna's voice was captured in the background, haunting and confused. Why would you do that? Her words weren't screams of anger or rage. They were disbelief, confusion, a desperate attempt to understand the man she had trusted. Her voice would become the first unforgettable piece of evidence, the emotional core of the story. But the truth wouldn't come only from her voice. The physical evidence, the trajectory, the crime scene, it all painted a story far more damning than words alone. From the moment police arrived, the scene spoke volumes. The downward trajectory of the bullet made one thing clear. Arrianna had not been fighting equally for the weapon. She was vulnerable on the ground, while Charles stood over her with control. The close-range blast to her abdomen left catastrophic internal injuries. Injuries no argument could explain away. And then there was the 911 call, a haunting record of Arrianna's last moments. Please get him away from me. Not help me. Not I've been shot. But a plea to distance herself from the man who had once promised love. Even as life drained from her, fear persisted. Charles, by contrast, remained calm. He showed officers the illegal sawed-off shotgun with quiet cooperation, betraying none of the horror unfolding just moments before. The forensic autopsy confirmed the crime scene story. Close-range, downward shot, unequivocal proof of dominance. Combine that with his criminal record, a convicted felon legally barred from owning firearms, and Charles's actions became even more damning. Simply possessing the gun was already a felony. When the case reached court, his defense tried to frame it as an accident. They argued he and Arrianna had struggled for control, that the gun went off unintentionally. But the physical evidence trajectory analysis and 911 audio told a story the defense couldn't deny. This was not an accident. This was deliberate. And yet, as strong as the evidence was, the impact of Arrianna's death stretched far beyond the courtroom. Arrianna's death didn't just end her story. It left lasting consequences for everyone who loved her. Her 11-month-old son would grow up without his mother. He would never hear her laughter, feel her hugs, or know the comfort of her voice. Instead, he would carry the weight of her absence for the rest of his life, a lifelong emotional sentence imposed by the very person who should have protected him. Her best friend, Ken Martin, lost not only Arrianna, but also the kidney she had promised to save her life. Just 6 days before her death, Ken had celebrated the gift of hope, a transplant that would give her a chance to survive. That hope died along with Arrianna, leaving heartbreak too deep to measure. Arrianna's social media, once full of victory posts, family moments, and proud announcements, became a digital memorial. Hearts and fire emojis were replaced by candles, prayers, and messages of grief. The bold girl who had sent a daring message years ago, "Want a better one?" was now frozen in time, remembered through the sorrow of those left behind. And the questions linger. Why didn't the protective orders work? Why did Arrianna stay after repeated threats and violence? The answers are painful but crucial. Domestic violence traps people in ways society often fails to understand. Fear, dependence, hope, and the belief that they can handle it all too often keep victims in danger until it's tragically too late. Arrianna's story is more than a tragedy. It's a window into the harsh realities of domestic violence, the dangerous dynamics of control, and the heartbreaking truth that leaving an abusive relationship can be the most perilous moment of all. Her life reminds us that fear, hope, love, and dependence can trap people in situations no one should ever endure. It shows how control can turn deadly, and how the most ordinary day can change in an instant. But there's a lesson here for everyone. Awareness matters. Conversations matter. Prevention matters. Recognizing the warning signs, supporting victims, and understanding the risks can save lives. Arrianna's final words, "Why would you do that?" echo not only as a cry of confusion and fear, but also as a plea for understanding, a plea for change, so that others don't have to ask the same question. If this story touched you, share it, talk about it, spread awareness. Each conversation, each act of attention can help prevent another tragedy. Remember, love should never hurt. Until next time, stay safe.